Hi, welcome to 10 Zoom. Today will be an extra special, or should I say extraterrestrial day.
We'll be doing a series of interesting interviews about some unique objects that science have been tirelessly working on to attract aliens. First, to Professor A to tell us about the history and present research for aliens.
Thank you guys very much for having me.
So Ava, have we sent up anything in the past to try and find a signal from aliens, or is this the first time?
You see, this isn't actually our first time doing this. We've done something similar in the past by sending up the Voyager Golden Records and the Pioneering Plaque.
Can you give us some more information on these plaques and records?
Well, first there was the Pioneer 10. Launched in 1972, it carried a golden plaque which had images on it so that the aliens could learn a bit about us. The Pioneer 11 had this too. The Voyager Golden Records was sent up in 1977 with the same purpose but in a different form. Voyager 1 had a golden record on it with instructions in image form which could play sounds from Earth. It could also show different images when put through the correct technology. Fast forward today and we're having another go.
Thank you, Ava, for that fascinating report.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now over to mathematician Professor Angela to tell us about how they're going to launch these objects into space.
So how did you calculate when and where you were going to launch the objects to the ISS?
Well, through extensive research, I've figured out that a little island in the middle of the ocean called Point Nemo gets almost no visitors, making it the perfect spot to set up all our equipment to launch the objects into space. It is also the closest spot to the ISS in distance, which means we can get the objects to the ISS fairly quickly. The ISS also appears over Point Nemo every 12 days, meaning we have a lot of chances to launch out these objects if we get a failed attempt when launching them for the first time.
So we know where we're going to launch these objects, but when are you going to do that?
And how far is the distance between Point Nemo and the ISS?
Well, depending on the distance will depend on the time we launch the objects. The distance between Point Nemo and the ISS is 386 kilometers. The ISS will be above Point Nemo at 12 p.m. on the 17th of September 2024, as it takes 4 hours and 8 minutes to get to the ISS. Launch time would be at 7:52 a.m.
Now that we have discussed when we will launch these three objects, I think we should know a bit more about them. Going back to you, Ava, what objects are we going to send?
So now we're sending up 3 objects. Each of these objects have a coded message hidden in them that the aliens will have to crack to figure out what we are trying to tell them. The 3 objects we are sending up all must be decoded using one of our 5 main. The 3 objects that we are going to be sending up will be a birth certificate, perfume bottle, and a bracelet that represents DNA and RNA.
So is there like a key and the message is literally inside the object? Or is there a piece of paper attached to the objects with writing on it? I'm confused.
I see why you would think that, but no. So let me explain. I'm going to use the birth certificate as an example. A birth certificate on Earth means that you are a living thing, you are a real person and part of the population. The aliens will use their sense of sight to see all of the images we have included on the birth certificate and figure out that the message we are trying to tell them is to prove their existence. But there also is empty lines for the aliens to fill in when sent back. We can decode the lucky aliens' information.
Will the aliens be able to read the certificate?
Yes, we've used pictograms and emojis. Pictograms are basically images that anyone can understand universally no matter the language they speak. The message in the perfume will just be a friendly hello. We are going to make the perfume smell like vanilla, which according to my research, boost endorphins, which is the chemical that makes all living beings happy.
Exciting. And what about the third object?
And our third object is a bracelet that represents deoxyribonucleic acid bracelet.
I'm sorry, deoxyribonucleic what?
No. So you probably know it as its more common name, DNA. We've designed the bracelet to look like DNA or RNA, as all living things must have some form of it. The bracelet lets them know that we are living things, living beings just like them, and we are not some scientific piece of electricity.
Apparently there was a fourth code that was created when the three messages were put together.
Can you tell us about that, please?
So there's actually a fourth code. If the aliens have interpreted all the objects correctly to get the fourth code, you take the subject out of each one. From the birth certificate, they will get humans. From the perfume bottle, they will get greeting or hello. And from the final object, the bracelet, it means living beings, and they are living, so aliens. What do you get when you have all of that together? Humans, greeting, aliens.
It was a pleasure having you.
How far are the objects from the ISS? And the aliens?
The ISS has just launched the objects, and apparently there were some aliens nearby who should be receiving the objects right about now.
Fantastic. But before we interview them, let's give a warm welcome to Aaliyah from Simplify Services to help us translate. Hi, Aaliyah.
Hello, thank you for having me. I don't think there's Zoom experts yet, or internet experts for that matter. Just a case of hotspot difficulties.
Aliens must be coming through now. Hello, aliens. It is delightful to finally lay eyes on a species from outer space.
So do aliens have names in space, or do you just call each other random words?
I just saw, yeah, paper, yeah. Aliens said that the one on the left is Isaac and the one on the right is Hannah.
So how do you live? It must be different in space than it is on Earth.
Translator, yeah. They said that we live in round discs called croutons. Croutons look like squash circles, as they believe you call it on Earth. You step through it and poof, now you're inside your crouton.
Well, I think we are learning a lot about aliens, but I believe we must move on to the objects.
Objects, of course.
Isaac, Hannah, have you noticed anything strange coming towards you?
Space exoplanet here. They are saying that they have spotted an aluminium box floating towards them, and their friend Abigail is grabbing it now.
This is excellent news. Not only does it mean that the objects were launched successfully, but now we can learn more about this widely unknown species.
Taking out the objects, and the first one they choose to decipher is the birth certificate. Isaac is saying how the emoji with the party hat must mean birthdays because it is celebrating something, and the hat that the emoji is wearing is the same hat that aliens wear when it's someone's birthday. Anna wants to look at the other symbols and decipher what they mean in order to figure out the whole message.
I can't believe we get to see the whole operation unfold.
It's like watching a sci-fi movie, except it's happening in real life.
Agreed.
Isaac and Hannah have just figured out that on Earth, that symbol means family. This truly shows how smart alien life is.
I didn't know that aliens knew so much about us.
Yeah, I thought they had absolutely no idea about Earth, and they would be completely stumped by these objects.
To show that you can't judge something you haven't seen.
Well, the aliens have now moved on to the next pictograms. They will probably get this one quite quickly, as they already have a profound knowledge of humans. Hannah is saying that the image looks extremely similar to a picture she once saw of a human's house, and they would be correct. There are 4 images on the birth certificate, and they've already gotten through 3 of them in such a short time. If only everybody's minds were this fast. The last image on the birth certificate is the emoji for a name tag. It is a white rectangle in a red tulip-shaped badge. Let's see if the aliens can figure out what it means. They are stumped, but they're actually pretty close. They say that on their planet there are paper circles with blue stars on the inside of it, which you write your name on. They call it a holindra. So they are assuming that this symbol is the human equivalent to a Holindra. Ding, 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 and Hannah has cracked the code. She says that a birthday means you are born, that you actually exist. She thinks that since there are empty lines next to the symbols, that the humans want them to fill out and show that you actually exist.
If that were
Wow.
true, then finding a cure for cancer would be right around the corner.
Wow, just wow. Can someone please get these aliens to come here with us? We need help down here.
If I was an alien, I definitely wouldn't be able to solve something like that quickly.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it at that.
Well, thank you to Professor Ava, Professor Aaliyah, Isaac, and Hannah for agreeing to be interviewed and expanding our knowledge on alien life.
Oh, you're welcome.
No problem.
You're welcome.
For our next segment, we ask our viewers which is better.
Swimming, shopping, or staples?
Stay tuned.
For more on Tenzoom.